Hi, this is Marcia LaReau with Forward Motion. Welcome to this video on how to find job opportunities on the internet. I'll be giving you some tips including where to search, how to search, tracking and evaluating your results, and adjusting your search. These tips can save you a lot of time and help you find jobs that are the best match for your skills and experience. When I talk to people about their search, some people think looking on the internet has all the glamour of getting a root canal. Since 2008, I've been asking job seekers where they go to look for jobs. The answers don't change much. Almost everyone has heard of Career Builder and Monster. Those were clear leaders in 2008, before the Great Recession drove thousands of workers into unemployment. There were so many people looking for work that hiring professionals, like recruiters and human resource professionals, turned to technology to help them find a way to look at all those resumes. Applicant tracking systems became important tools to help. That brought about new leaders in the industry of parsing through resumes. As I mentioned, most job seekers were looking only on Monster and Career Builder. But let's take a look at the top job boards. I suggest that you duplicate the process I'm about to show you and do this research in your industry. Back in 2011, many people in the supply chain industry were laid off. Since people weren't buying many goods, it wasn't necessary to manufacture them or ship them across the country. And that's what supply chain managers did. So they were laid off and looking for work. I wanted to find a way to tell when the industry was turning around. So here's what I did. I went to some of the most popular job boards, including Simply Hired, Indeed, and Juju, which is a personal favorite of mine, but not many people know about it. Indeed and Simply Hired are both aggregator job boards. That means that each night, at a designated time, these software programs comb the internet for job postings. They look at company websites, other job boards, and all of the findings become part of the search results for that site. So you can find a lot of postings in one place. I created this chart so I could watch what was happening over time. The job boards I used were Career Builder, Monster, Indeed, Simply Hired, and Juju. Using the term supply chain, I recorded the number of jobs available in the United States. In the column next to it, I recorded those that were available in Connecticut, which is where my client base was at the time. On January 21st, right here, on Career Builder, there were 5,850 jobs. In the United States, 81 were in Connecticut. Monster tells us that there were over 1,000 and only 22 were in Connecticut. But look what happens when we go to the aggregator job boards. 53,000, 66,500. In Connecticut, over 1,000 in each one. Now there are some duplications, but not that many. Clearly, Career Builder and Monster were missing some opportunities that a job seeker might be interested in. So, as I looked at these, I did them every week. What you see here is every quarter, so I condensed these down, and I started to be able to see trends. You might ask what job boards you should look at, and that's a good question. As you watch your industry, you'll likely find positions that are a good fit and that are found on 2 or 3 boards. I look at the aggregator job boards first, Indeed and Simply Hired. And I have to say that sometimes I will find something on Career Builder or Monster or Juju that I don't find anywhere else. Well, I kept looking every week at what was happening under supply chain and looking for a trend, and eventually I was able to see it. On this chart, we see that the industry has its ups and downs. In first quarter, January, 5,800 jobs, and then there's a big jump by second quarter, and we see a jump in each one of these job boards. Then we see it goes down a little bit and then back up a little bit. So what we're looking for is the ebb and flow of an industry. Back in 2008, an industry would have opportunities posted maybe every 3 months, sometimes every 6 months. That means there were postings for about 6 weeks, and then for 6 weeks there wouldn't be much new. Some of my clients would say to me, "There's nothing new out there." Some of them would even panic when that happened. That was back in 2011. Today, in 2014, it's a much better situation. The ebb and flow for industries may be as short as a month. So there are job postings for 2 weeks, and then a lull in activity, and then it picks up again. In addition to those aggregator job boards, there are what I call boutique job boards. These are job boards that are specific to an industry, a role, or some other specific focus, and here are a few. IT professionals, they may know about dice.com. Maybe you work in a nonprofit, or perhaps you're in accounts receivable. The question is, how do you find job boards that are specific to your job search? Well, I go to my favorite search engine. I go to Google, and I put in accounts receivable jobs. Let's see what we get. Here's what I found. I'm looking here at the URL. That's the green print that you see underneath the title. And in that URL, in the first one, we see accountsreceivable.jobs.org. That is a boutique job board just for accounts receivable jobs. The second one, we see jobs.monster.com, accounting. So what happened is they went to Monster, they looked up jobs, and they looked up accounting. And these are the results. That's not a boutique job board at all. The next one is the same thing on Simply Hired. They looked at accounts plus receivable. And the third one we see here is Career Builder. So those aren't boutique boards. This next one is interesting. Accounts receivable jobs.jobcircle.com. Well, that's very interesting, and that might be worth investigating. You might wonder why these positions might be on a smaller job board. Remember that there are so many job seekers that hiring professionals are looking for possible ways to reduce the number of applicants. They're counting on the fact that only the most savvy job seekers will be looking for these smaller boards. So let's review where to search. The primary job boards that we discussed, boutique job boards, and don't forget company websites. You can usually find their job board by going to their website and looking for a link named Careers. This is the end of part 1. In part 2, we're going to discuss how to search these job boards to find jobs that fit.